Morning guys, I thought I'd do a quick video on Spain. Not a lot to update in Spain itself, but been a few questions around would I still live in Spain even after all the Brexit issues and everything else. So let's just call it post-Brexit. Um, Reality is Spain offers a lot more for me than the UK. The UK is basically financial, nothing else. The healthcare in Spain, we're private. The healthcare we find very good in the area. We don't have to go on a waiting list. I don't have to ring the doctor at 8 o'clock in the morning in the hope that they answer the phone. It's very quick and easy. And don't get me wrong, if I was paying £200 an appointment in the UK, I could get a similar service, but I pay about, I don't know, 140 a month for the whole family with private insurance. So that's a major benefit, the healthcare, especially with the issues that led up to my parents' death and other people I speak to about problems they've had. Don't get me wrong, other people will go, well, the NHS, best in the world. The NHS funding is a mess. It's a massive mess. I'm not going to get into it too much because it becomes political. And I know a bit too much on that side because it's the industry I currently work in. But it's the way it's running is just an absolute nightmare for everybody. I mean, if you talk to people that work in the NHS, most of them are the most miserable people I've met, overstressed, overstretched, etc., etc. So for me, healthcare is an important one for living in Spain. Kids' education. I find the education systems very good in Spain. I also find you will find a lot of people out there in the middle of the road, in the sense as that there doesn't seem to be a drive to actually be the best in your class or whatever. But my wife being Asian, being the best is just the norm. So my kids do really well, but also the access to tutors, the access to extra curriculum, it's there en masse. It's not a problem. Same as activities for the kids. You know, they'll go to museums, they'll go on trips away, you know, weekend in northern Spain and stuff. My kids have done that. It's a lot more sensible. The education system in the UK has become overburdened with legislation and paranoia, unfortunately, and it's to the detriment of kids. Whether people agree with me or disagree, I'll just say, get a kid from both countries and compare the access to what they have, the facilities wise, etc. Even on the basics, we sit opposite a basketball court, we sit opposite the beach, we sit opposite nature parks. So you've got mountain bike riding, you've got basketball, football, beach activities, all on you, literally on the doorstep. Now, don't get me wrong, you could say the same if you're down in Cornwall or Devon, but if you've dipped into that water yourself, you know it's not exactly the warmest. So for the kids, I think it offers a opportunity that they may not get in the UK. On top of that, it's the multilingual aspect, because my kids speak Spanish, they speak English, they speak Bisaya, and other languages, you know, because the thing is their friends are from all over the place, so they all speak a bit of everything. And kids, if they're at the right age where they're integrated, they understand it, you know, quite quickly, because it's not about being taught it, it's because you're using it. When I was a kid, my German lessons weren't very good. The fact was, I was dating a Polish girl that only spoke German when I was living in Germany as a kid. Bizarrely, my German was quite good. It wasn't from the classroom. And then you get to the weather. I mean, it's quite a common joke between me and my wife, because I look out the window here when I'm working in Northampton, and the sky is pretty much grey about 80% of the time. Like, just nothingness, no sun, it's just grey. Where in Spain, you got the sun pretty much all the time. There's very few days that it's not sunny, and that's good for the health. And then obviously the Salt Lake side as well, which is also good for your health as well, because we live between the two Salt Lakes, so the environment's good. Then you get onto the food. A lot of the food is very good. It's on the doorstep as well. A lot of, we have farmers markets on a regular basis. Here in Northampton, they've messed up the market. They moved it, and pretty much I think the majority of them have gone bust or closed down because they killed it, and not in a positive way. But then when we start talking about work, financially, I make more in the UK. But then I look at the fact, if I was investing here in my full-time home and everything else, I'd be financially worse off, without a doubt. Getting a 3 to 4 bedroom house in the UK would be 3 times more than I paid in Spain. But also, I don't work at it in money, I work it in years. So I look at it, and we're down to the last quarter of the mortgage within 2 years in Spain. I'd probably be looking at another 10, 15 years if I did the same in the UK, because it's compounded, because it's the mortgage plus the interest. So the gap is, although it may just go like, let's say it's 100,000 in Spain, it'll be the 100,000 plus the interest. But if you go in the UK, it's 300,000 plus the interest. So it's it's not as quick to pay off, because the thing in Spain, because I'm paying it off faster, in the sense of, it was, I can't even remember how much it was now, but the fact is, it's not just the fact that I'm paying, like, say, £500 a month extra. It's the fact is, I'm paying 500 plus some of the extra interest isn't being accumulated. So in the UK, if I'm paying more, that 500 would actually be worth less on paying off the mortgage earlier, if you know what I mean. So the fact is, it has a bigger impact on paying it quicker in Spain. Which gets me to the point that I'll never retire. To be fair, I think retirement would kill me. But the fact is, I'm looking at Spain, and we're heading more down the route of sustainability, for a lifestyle. Well, I think in the UK, you're constantly bound into spending more than you would want to if you could get away with it. I mean, I have a Peugeot 107 here. It cost me 4k. And other people may go, why don't you get a new car? Well, it's like, because it's a car. In Spain, I've got an Astra, which is a pain in the backside, but I was chatting to Carlos recently, because he's bought a new car, and I'm like, but I always look at things in years, and when I look at spending £40,000 on a car, for example, I look at that and think, that's an apartment, and I could buy an apartment, rent it out, and whoever's in there pays the mortgage. It's a no-brainer for me, which is why I keep putting off buying a new car. It's a justification thing. So I had to drink some coffee there, because you're probably guessing my throat's drying up. But if you were going to retire or move to Spain, would I still recommend it? The answer is yes. Prior to this, I lived out in the Philippines. Didn't get any free healthcare. Didn't get my pension transfer, all that sort of stuff, because I was younger. But out there, it's hard to get work. It's hard to make a living. In Spain, there's a large multinational community. So becoming a jobbing builder, if you put the effort in, you'll probably find it's possible. If you want to do multilingual stuff, the opportunities to find work are still there. Don't get me wrong, you may think I don't earn as much as I do in Spain, in the UK, and my hours are split, because they siesta in the afternoon. But you know what? A lot of it's about the location. So you may be going to work till 8 o'clock at night, but it's a bit like me. I'll quite happily just walk across the street and go and sit on the beach at 10 o'clock at night. The same as if they had siesta in the afternoon, wander down to the beach. It's a lot of it's about the environment you're in, and I do find it a lot more positive, a lot more friendly. It's a lot more community based as well. There's a lot of community stuff that goes on a regular basis. Where in the UK, don't really hear about it much. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're out in some village in the middle of nowhere, or, you probably got quite a strong community. But for the average person, I think it's been eroded away. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Now, cost of living wise, is the UK or Spain better? In comparison with what I earn in the UK and spend in Spain, even keeping this place in Northampton, it works out cheaper than having a place in the UK full time. Because I just rent a room in the UK. If I was going down the route of everything else, I'd be robbed blind like everybody else that's complaining about the finances in the UK at the minute. That's just reality. Politics wise, I think both countries have got massive problems. I think the UK's worse. I think one of the problems the UK's got at the moment is its own identity. And that's a massive problem. If people don't feel that they're part of something, it's not a good place for anybody to be. You need a sense of pride in where you are. Spain has it in droves. Let's face it, because you've got like the Basque separatists, you've got the Catalan issues and everything else. Those are people that have got pride in their regions, etc., etc. UK, you may get Sturgeon whinging now and again, and now her scandals come to the surface. She's disappeared for the old Scotland. Wales don't really do much, and then Ireland's obviously going through another dilemma at the moment around McGregor becoming a president and recognising how people are being locked in bit by bit with legislation there. I'd say there's probably a better chance in Spain because it's more socialist, and I'm not a socialist. You know, a lot of the stuff I'm against, but at the same time, I'm seeing how the UK is getting compounded like this. You know, as somebody who works in the UK, I see the rise of these Generation Z or whatever that want all the office jobs yet don't want to do any work. But I've got some of them, you know, some severe arrogance with some people, and no knowledge. At the same time, this is opening up why trades are so busy now, because a lot of people don't want to do the jobs. Only puts the money up. That's how I originally got into that stuff, because I could see people didn't want to do it, and I could get 3 times more than going down the office route or whatever, because quite simply I could charge what I like, and then I could do the same outside of working hours as well. But yeah, Spain offers a lot. The house prices, I don't think are gonna go, you know, on a boom and bust, simply because there's already excessive houses on the coast. The cities are already going through a lot of redevelopments because they sort of primed that during COVID to do a lot of construction in the cities. So that sort of, I'd say, help balance their economy, because they do have housing problems in the big cities. But they recognised it and did something about it. Yeah, I think they actually listen. I think that's an important bit. My wife will tell you, she'll message the mayor on Facebook about something, and the mayor's office will deal with it. I mean, I don't know about you. Do you get the same response from your council or whatever in the UK? They actually seem very proactive in Spain. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, because obviously my thoughts, my opinions are based on my lifestyle and what I do. But I love living in Spain. I love the people there. I like this sense of community. I like the fact that, you know, April, my wife, neighbours and stuff, they swap food. You know, if somebody's cooking something, they all seem to cook extra, then you swap it amongst each other so everyone gets to try each other's different types of food. I like the infusion of different nationalities without it being forced, because people are just there. It's not moving a community and going, oh, they'll integrate, which is what's happened in many places in the UK, which obviously we still haven't integrated, because anything that's forced normally doesn't work. But we sit where we've got Swiss, Dutch, French, German, Ukrainian, Russian, Cuban, Irish, Chinese, Romanian. Yeah, I've said German, haven't I? Yeah. Lithuanian, Estonian. All in a community. And they all get on, because they don't separate themselves out. They don't go, well, that's that quarter, that's that. And that's where that problem comes from, is when you force it, people automatically dig in and try to be awkward. But when people are just migrating and just living there, funny enough, that stuff just, it's not being forced in two ways of acceptance, you know, in the sense of you need to accept these people, and other people being forced to go there for whatever reason. It's a case of people just there. And in fact, when the Ukrainian war kicked off, I gave a load of stuff to the school to, because they had loads of kids coming, so I gave loads of milk and stuff for. So I don't know what people have got when they arrived, but the communities come together to actually assist. It was like, it wasn't even a question, it's people asking what they can do to help. And I think that's important, you know, having that sense of community is there. I've got to admit, I'm not involved with the PTA since my kids have gone to secondary school, but I was always keen to get involved with the primary school, although I think some people kept me at arm's length because they'd have to use some of their English with me, which may have put a few people off. But yeah, we still got involved in activities, and I think it's important to get involved in those stuff. But yeah, the main downside you have with Spain is probably finances. But then again, if you live in a community, do away with your car, because I find the public transport's good. You could probably live there on a lot less, because I think you get too used to creature comforts in the UK, where you can live on a lot less in Spain. And you find a lot of people are quite happy having a 300 quid car, or you know, live in a smaller property, owning less, having less, because instead of having a focus on the TV, the focus is on outdoors. But that's my thoughts. Please leave your comments. Thanks for watching.